let's stick to the more modern changes that I've had. Running, which has challenged my cardiovascular, I guess you can say. The other thing I've been working on is like myofascial stuff. When Chris was here, Chris Kadowski, when he was here, he talked a lot about how sometimes he'll do myofascial work on people and they'll sleep a lot. Not only was he right on that, but like I fell asleep while he was working on me, and that shit is not comfortable. So it's not like you're getting a massage. That shit hurts. But a couple times, like just the amount of like kind of what it takes to do that just made me very exhausted. So I've been working on a lot of that myself, utilizing Kelly Starrett's Supernova, foam rolling, doing a bunch of other stuff and trying to get some of this kind of tension out of there. And then in addition to that, doing some of the Ben Patrick stuff and working on range of motion and working on a little bit of stretching, some mobility stuff, and just having different goals in the gym where I'm not frying out my central nervous system. That could be another thing that is contributing. But more recently, the sleep has been locked in. It's been feeling really good. And I'm excited to share some stuff with you guys today because I think it could help a lot of people.
I have a quick question, man. I wonder if you remember when you were younger, like when you were doing a lot of the wrestling stuff that you were doing, when you were in really good shape when you were younger, do you remember how your sleep was? Was your sleep also, was it messed up back then or was it better? Because, yeah.
I don't remember having a problem with it then.
Don't remember having a problem with it then?
I don't remember having a problem with it then. It's more like it's more like after I had kids, there could be a factor in there as well.
Yeah.
It's more like after I had kids and when I was like really deep into powerlifting.
Really deep into powerlifting. And when you were really deep into powerlifting, there was a lack, like you were still doing like walking and stuff, but there was a lack of focus on cardiovascular work, and your resting heart rate was probably usually a little bit higher than normal.
Must have been a lot higher.
A lot higher. Now, one thing that I think it could be something that helps a ton of people is Stan Efferding has talked about individuals who are bodybuilders and individuals who build thick necks. These are typically lifters. They end up getting sleep apnea, so they have to use a CPAP machine. But one thing that I think could be something really beneficial when I look at what you've done as far as your sleep and your progression, as you've gotten better at running and your heart rate's gone down and you've gotten better at breathing, your sleep has gotten better. Like there's a lot of things we're going to talk about that you've done, but that's a big thing. So I think about this, like if a lifter, a bodybuilder, a powerlifter, somebody who's struggling with their sleep, if they can start working on some type of cardio that helps them to, push their aerobic capacity, but then also gets their resting heart rate down and allows them to relax when they're at rest, that would probably be of benefit to their sleep. Because I couldn't imagine that walking around with a resting heart rate of 75 to 80 is any good for anyone who's trying to get restful sleep.
Yeah, because when you try to rest, you're not going to be resting. And if you have a tight body and tight areas, again, all things that you can solve on your own, via checking out Kelly Starrett's book, Becoming a Supple Leopard.
Yeah.
You can check out a lot of the stuff in there. There's lots of stuff online of people doing kind of mild fascial release. I'm not saying that this is the key factor, but it can help. And what I wanted to share today is the fact that there's most likely not any one thing that's going to be your savior. And it would be also fairly unlikely that the first thing that you stumble upon is going to be the thing that helps you. It appears that a sleep apnea machine can really help a lot of people.
Yes, it can.
And sleep apnea is very, very dangerous. People die in their sleep. It happened to a friend of mine who was a strongman competitor years ago, Mike Jenkins. It happened to the famous football player Reggie White. So these things happen, and it's a scary thing because you literally stop breathing while you're sleeping. Nowadays, you can get an at-home sleep study done, which I should do because then I can see like for sure how much of this problem did I solve and fix.
Pat Project family, how's it going? We talk about sleep all the time on this podcast. That's why we partnered with 8 Sleep mattresses. Now, this mattress is the Tesla of sleep. It's the Tesla of beds. Its technology tracks your heart rate variability. It changes its own temperature based off the way you sleep so that you get better sleep every single night. It is quite literally insane. Check them out. Andrew, how do they get it?
Yes, and before I do that, I wanted to let you guys know that you can actually set the bed to wake you up silently. I know that sounds weird, but actually the bed starts vibrating around your head, and it doesn't wake up the entire household the way my phone used to do back in the day. So now I just kind of have the bed wake me up silently, and it's amazing. You guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/power project. That's EIGHT sleep.com/power project. When you guys go there, you'll see a banner across the top saying that you're going to receive $150 off automatically. So again, that's 8sleep.com/power project to receive $150 off your Pod Pro cover or your Pod Pro cover and mattress combo. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Let's get back to the podcast.
So I had a sleep study done previously, so you can do an at-home sleep study. Andrew might be able to look up some testing that we can suggest or recommend. Yeah, I forget if you need to have a doctor get it for you or however it works, but I know that like a company like Merrick Health would be able to help you, get a hold of something like that.
Yeah.
If you are having issues with your sleep. A lot of people suffer from sleep apnea. It's not just people that are big.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just people that are obese. There's a lot of people that suffer from it. But there's been many things I've done in the last few weeks to change things up a bit. And I just was, I don't know, maybe just about a month ago, I was like, let me just jack my calories up for a bit. I haven't been eating that much. I've been kind of doing some fasting, and it actually might have even been a little bit longer ago than a month now that I think about it. So I started to incorporate some dairy, some raw milk, some raw cream, yogurt, cottage cheese, and fruit. I went for a month without carbs just because I was doing a no-carb month challenge thing, and I didn't really feel like I was depleted or deprived during that month. I like low-carb style diets, but one thing to keep in mind is a lot of these things that we do to maybe have a better body or to be in better shape, they can sometimes be stressors. And sometimes you could be over-stressing yourself. So I was just thinking, like, let me give myself one less thing to think about. Let me just eat more and kind of see what happens. Because I think in comparison to how often I train, I don't eat that much. I eat a good amount, and I definitely get my fill to where I'm not perpetually always losing weight. I don't look gaunt. I don't look like I need to go and run out and eat a sandwich right away or anything like that. But so I think a lot of my requirements are met, but also with an extra energy expenditure of running more recently, I was like, let me just kind of see what happens when I flood the body with nutrients. And I think so that's been a huge help as well.
Eating more food.
I think eating more food has helped a lot. Just because, again, fasting and all these different things, they can be a stressor.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the type of fasting that you and I do, I don't think it's that huge of a stressor because it's pretty mild. And you and I are like, fuck it. I had like a protein shake during the fast. Like it's not always truly like a fast, but for argument's sake, we go 18, 16 hours without any like real food, without a substantial amount of calories, maybe only 300 calories at most, a lot of times. And so I was like, let me just take that off. Let me just get rid of that for a moment. And I still will have days where I might actually choose to fast, but I will most likely start to eat a little earlier in the day. So just consuming more calories. And then when I do eat, if I did some sort of fast, just trying to consume more food in that time period. And things like milk and heavy cream have helped me jack the calories up a bit.
And when, what time, like how far or how close are you eating to bedtime? Because that definitely affects me.
If I'm too full, it makes it very difficult to sleep. So I try to discontinue like a major meal, maybe about 3 hours before bed, 3 hours before bed, somewhere in that range. I still might have a shake. I still might eat a little bit of fruit. I still might eat something small. But I found, again, more recently, that doesn't seem to bother me. So that's what I've been doing lately.
It was Alan Flanagan that I think when we were talking to him, he's the one who talked about individuals having better sleep quality when they ate food not as close to bed. That's when we tried that. We're like, oh yeah, actually I do notice a difference when, if I, instead of eating right before I go to sleep, but maybe 3 or 4 hours before I go to sleep, the sleep quality is quite a bit better. So that's another one of those things, but that's what we're saying here. It's like, we have the mouth tape, we have the blue blocks, we have all these things. We don't eat too close to bed most of the time if we can manage it. We have the 8-sleep mattress where we have our temperature-controlled room. So we have all these things, but all of these things have been able to culminate into good sleep. Like, it's not just one thing. It's not just the mattress, right? It's a really important thing to remember, because as you have a specific problem, maybe it's your sleep apnea, and you try one thing, but it doesn't work immediately, but it gives you a little bit of benefit in a certain direction, hold on to that. That doesn't mean you stop doing whatever it is that you got or whatever it is that you started doing. You keep doing that, and then you find something else, because I've paid really close attention to how your sleep has been through the years, because as we do something, I'd always ask, okay, hey, Mark, how's that feeling? How's your sleep now? It's like, oh, it's a little better, right? But it seems like now you have this cocktail of everything that we've been doing, and now you're like, oh, I sleep like a normal person now, or I sleep the way we should be sleeping. Like, it's finally there. And that's a really dope thing to see. But I think one of the big movers that can help most people is, not just the breathing aspect, because like nasal breathing is important. And even when we talk to Chris Kadowski, he's talking about how, like, when he works with people, he does body work on people. They come in and he's doing stuff on them, and they have a tendency to hold their breath. They're not relaxed. They don't know how to, or their body's not okay with breathing through stress. So yeah, your breath needs to get handled. But a lot of times, as you start to get a control over your breath, if you start to do more nasal breathing, it's going to be of benefit. And I'm literally repeating myself again. I think it's going to be of benefit to a lot of people to develop better aerobic fitness. It's like, I know we're all trying to get stronger. I know we're trying to get bigger in terms of gaining size, but while seeking that, a lot of people neglect their heart health. A lot of people neglect their aerobic fitness, and that's something that can allow you to have a lower heart rate when you're at rest, can allow you to relax when you're at rest. And I don't see how that couldn't be a big mover in allowing someone to get better quality sleep when they're actually asleep. Peeps, we love bringing you all this fitness information, and we also want to help bring that information to more people. So if you could help us out, hit that red subscribe button and then hit the notification bell, and we'll continue to bring you the heat. And I won't whisper in your ear. Talk to you guys later.